So, with pleasure and honor, we have Sascha Paeth to discuss about Heaven's Gate and not all the other projects he has been working with, producing, playing, and all that stuff together with George. Welcome on board, Sascha.
Yeah, hello, Sakis. Hello, George.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's this picture has been a constant thing over the last few months, but is the first thing that we're recording our conversation because there has been lots of things going on before this, and it has to do with Heaven's Gate participation in Rock Art Festival in Athens, the 13th of September, together with Masters of Ceremony. So.
Yes.
What inspired the idea to perform at Rock Art Festival Greece after so many years?
You, I guess.
Blame it on me.
Oh, George, yeah, you guys. I mean, I thought we do this as a one-off thing last year, like a similar thing. Actually, not in this dimension, because we have more members now. We did a sort of a thing like this, but let's say smaller or shorter on a festival in Germany last year, and that is also, I guess, the reason George came up and asking me if we could do something like that in Greece, just a little bit more and bigger, with possibly more original members. And first of all, I thought that was a one-off thing, but of course I do like the idea because I like it. I like the guys in Heaven's Gate, and that were great songs, and it was a good time, and it's a good opportunity to play in Greece. I never played in Greece, funny as it is, and especially not as Heaven's Gate. And so I thought, yeah, we took the chance to take the chance and make it happen somehow, like it's a more or less like a family gathering. So we all gonna head there, spend some time in Athens as well, and try to have some fun. And we surely will have some fun and play some cool songs. I mean, it's a split show. We play half a show with Masters of Ceremony and half the show with Heaven's Gate. And I mean, not everybody is going to be there. Unfortunately.
Can you explain us what will happen? Can you have more details? Can the people have more details on that show, how it's going to be done?
Okay, if you really want me to.
We'll not say that we'll not reveal the set list, but
of course, we will start playing as Masters of Ceremony. That will start the show, and then after a while, I will get the people on stage, and we switch it to a Heaven's Gate show.
Yeah,
completely. With one little difference, we have to have the singing done by somebody else.
Yeah, and this will be done by Herbie?
By Herbie Langhans, yes. One or two songs, most probably, or maybe three. Also, or like as a duet with Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
And so Herbie is going to take over and going to be the Heaven's Gate singer, more or less, for this show. And yeah, and he's a companion since many, many years, and I know him since back in the day from Heaven's Gate times. He's from around that area here, and actually Thomas Redke was his role model a little bit, starting singing. So for him it's a big honor, since he thinks Thomas is one of the best singers in this genre ever, and he definitely is. And so for him, it's an honor to do it, and we're really looking forward to doing it with him, because he's going to do a great job, and we're going to have lots of fun like that.
And that's I think the secret behind it to have fun, to enjoy your time being on stage and doing some
That's
rehearsals?
the only thing that I mean, this is definitely not for other reasons. I mean, well, what other reasons could there be? I mean, you first of all, because I heard like stuff like it's just for the money, but I mean, there is no money involved actually.
Yeah, I can assure that too. There's no money involved.
There is money involved for flights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a good time there, but nobody is going home with money in their pockets, and so this is just not the reason. And also, it's not for the fame or whatsoever. It's just for the fun of doing it and having a good time with old friends. Also, George. I mean, George is along since with Heaven's Gate since I don't know. I was 25 or when was that, George?
Maybe. I really don't remember. All I know is that my T-shirt now has holes. That's all.
So it's a long time ago, you know, and so it's just about having a good time with old friends and just going through some old cool songs over some old cool songs again and doing it the most proper way we can do it at the moment, and try to enjoy it and maybe make some people happy that are there for this event.
I think there's a whole generation of fans, power metal fans that haven't seen you live, including me, for example.
Okay.
And it's not just because we are in Greece. It's because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been, what, 25 years since a proper Heaven's Gate show?
I think the last Heaven's Gate show was, I don't know exactly, maybe 98 or 97.
Yeah.
Did you play show? Menergy was released in 99?
99 was Menergy released, and we played one show after that. Only one show in Sweden. And I think that was the last show. So that must have been 99 then, yes.
Yeah, so it's 26 years.
Yes. Heaven's Gate is much longer, double time, more than double, over than it has been existing. So it has been just existing for like around 10 years. And now we are like 26 years after these 10 years. So it's ancient.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened in the meantime, right? So, I mean...
Lots of things have happened in the meantime, and our main problem was to find time between the Avantasia shows that you are doing, and to see if the Avantasia shows coincided with the festival date of Rock Hard Festival.
Luckily, not happening.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Congratulations on your #1 album.
Talking about this timeline for some stuff that we had to do, but in the end, it was free, so that was really good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So that's all I think that people wanted to hear about your performance in the Rock Hard Festival show. And what do you say, George and Sascha, about diving into the past? Trying to remember a few things about Heaven's Gate, because this is about, mostly about Heaven's Gate. And I think that Frank from Eloy was the person who kind of discovered Heaven's Gate back in the days before releasing their first album. So how important was his mentorship, I could say, and how important was it to work with Frank Bornemann and Tommy Hansen, who was a big figure back then in your first album?
Frank Bornemann, first of all, was given us the opportunity to have like a publishing contract with his publishing company, which also his company also had a studio called Horror Sound Studio. So this gave us the opportunity to record in his studio, work on stuff. And he also came by in the rehearsal rooms. I wasn't even 18. I was signing a publishing deal with Warner when I was 17. My father had to sign it. I remember Frank being on our kitchen table, when I was 17, and my father had to sign the contract. And I would say Tommy Hansen was a big influence on the production. The way he looked at the things, like a very easy person, like super nice and super relaxed, and he gave us really a good time recording. Actually, it was so nice that I did work with him in the night times on other stuff in the same. So I started working in the studio basically with him. The first time I worked in the studio for somebody else. So I was fascinated by the whole thing, and he inflamed this a little bit, it ignited the spark. And so that was very interesting. So Frank was a little bit more giving us the opportunity business-wise also. He also gave some tips artistically in the rehearsal room, but in the production it was more Tommy that took things over. And later on, okay, we had other producers, but that was the In Control album, the first album, which was of course the initial spark for the whole thing. And I will never forget the time in the Horror Sound studio. I spent years there afterwards, working with other bands, working again with Heaven's Gate, So I did really a lot with Frank and the crew there. But that's a long time ago. I mean, that's really over 30 years ago.
Yeah, but it did ignite the spark for you to become a producer later. And
I mean, the initial spark, and yes, but really the reason why I became a producer or work in the studio in general was Charlie Bauerfeind later on, because
you started working with him in the beginning of your career as a producer. You started working with Charlie.
Yeah, we did the Living in Hysteria album together. That was the first Heaven's Gate album that he produced, and then he asked me to work with him afterwards. And then from then on, I was just only doing that. So that was really the time when I decided I don't work in my job anymore. I was, I had a job, and I just stopped. He started paying me monthly. So I was just traveling around in studios and working on thousands of albums with him.
So it's his fault, really. But yes.
I mean, the whole thing was fascinating me, as I told you, but I thought I never thought I get the chance to slip into that business or something like that, I mean, I didn't even think about it, but he was just asking me if I'm interested or if I can take over production for him. And I was just, we say it in Germany, jumping into the cold water and just did it.
Yeah.
Or tried it, and it kind of worked. He was happy. And so from then on, we worked together. I started more like as like keyboards and stuff like that, arrangements, and I played a lot for other people as well. And then more and more this engineering side came in, and the producing side, and then mixing later, actually. So I learned a lot from him.
Sascha has always been the man who never sleeps, the one who never stops. Even when he gets a day off, he works. That doesn't change even up to now, so many years later. But we keep on seeing your name on so many albums, so many either because you're participating, but mainly because you're producing either vocals or the whole thing. But Sascha, what have been your the key albums, the ones you've enjoyed the most, or the ones you're most proud of?
That is a very hard question. I mean, there are a couple that stand out for me that I really look back and think like this has really changed something for me, and I still remember. For me, it was important. Do I still remember the moment when we did them? And the first I would really say. I mean, I remember many, but the first is Angels Cry.
Yes.
I will never forget this. There's a certain magic around that time in my life, and also, for example, Living in Hysteria, also In Control, of course, was the first one, but Living in Hysteria was more. I was different, I was also more participating. In Control, more stuff was prefabricated already when I joined the band, so I worked on every song with the guys, But Living Hysteria we did from nothing together, and so that was a difference. Also, the Open the Gate and Watch was like that. Mm-hmm. So I had more influence or more chances to participate. And I have to say also Virgo was a very, very cool experience because we did everything different. I mean, Planet E was a good experience because the first time we did it just on our own, took everything on our own, into our own hands and tried to make it on ourselves. And Virgo was a very special experience because it was a live recording. We did it like live in the studio with a great band in a totally different way, you know, and we didn't really say, okay, we have to do heavy metal. We said we do whatever we want. And so that was a good experience. Avantasia, the Scarecrow, I would say. I mean, many albums in between. I surely forget a lot of important things. I mean, looking back to Rhapsody also, I mean, that was an experience, right? The first Rhapsody stuff was like, wow. No? That was very different and extreme in every way. And I would never forget these times, right? And so a lot of things on my way that still I have a good memory of. But mostly the stuff where more people together created something. This is what is more in my memory. Like this is also the reason I try to do it on and on. The more I can do it, the better it is, right? For example, the new Masters of Ceremony album. Also, we did it this way. We did it basically like the Virgo album. But even the writing now, we did it this way. The first album was done in a very different way, but the second, we just gathered together in the studio, and sometimes there were songs we didn't have anything in the morning. We worked on the stuff together with the whole band, played stuff live in the big studio, you know, rehearsed it, played it, lyric writing the song, and in the evening we had the song recorded, and that was a very special. Very exhausting experience, actually. So, but you know, you actually go home afterwards, and you're like super, super happy, and you don't forget it. This is gonna stick to your memory, and these are the things that stick to my memory. Not necessarily super successful stuff, you know. There's just interesting stuff happening. I'll never forget working with Sisters of Mercy, for example, with Andrew, because he was like, it was kind of magic. It was just a week, you know. I did that with Charlie Bauerfeind back in the day, and so many memories on the way. I don't actually know anymore how many albums I participated on. Maybe 350, 400. I really don't know.
And still going. You're still working, right? You're still working on an album or 2 or 3 or 5.
A couple of albums in the same time at the moment, yes.
Did you
we just released Asia, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you expect the kind of success that you had in Japan, even from your debut album? You broke out in Japan and everything was going like hell, you know. Special albums, acoustic performances since day one from Heaven's Gate. What was that?
I don't know. I mean, we were very surprised ourselves. I think it was like we made this album. We didn't know anything about Japan. We made the In Control album. And suddenly we heard that we have a good success on the import charts in Japan. I don't know how that happened. And then we got invited. It was me and Thomas in the first place, like for a promotional tour. I will never forget, because my first child was born when I was in a plane back. A little uncomfortable situation, because I was hoping she comes later, you know. So I will never forget this thing, and it's a very nice memory, of course, of being in Japan and having the first. It was a different world back then. I mean, Japan also changed a lot the last 35 years, right? It was much different. You didn't find a lot of English stuff, you know. Everything was written only in Japanese, and it was hard to find people that actually spoke English. I mean, Thomas and me got lost on the first night. I remember walking the streets of Shibuya. We thought like, oh, this is so cool here and so colorful, and then we just forgot. Actually, we didn't even know the hotel name, and we lost the way, and we didn't have money, and it was weird. And now everything is a little bit different, also in Japan. But the success, I mean, we didn't really know why it was happening. Maybe the people in Japan liked this type of music, and we were just doing the right thing for the taste of the Japanese people in that time. I mean, there were quite some German bands that were kind of big there around that time. We were just one of them. And then we got invited for touring, and we did some, I don't know, we played on MTV for acoustically and stuff like that, you know. I would actually love to have a recording of that, but I never found it. I remember
That's your story about being big in Japan, as the song says.
Big Japan. What's the story?
Yeah.
You know, it was weird. The way the Japanese people, also the business in Japan, approached people like us was very different than in Europe. In Europe, you're just a normal guy. You just walk the streets. But there, they treated you like rock stars. It was super weird. We were like sitting in I don't know, doing signing sessions in behind the glass, you know, where people walk by to buy stuff, you know. And there was like people outside, and we were inside behind the glass, and we couldn't really talk to the people. It was really weird. We found everything a little bit weird. I remember also Bonnie and I decided, and Friedel is Thomas, decided to have a little acoustic thing backstage, because there were like a couple of fans that gathered there, maybe 100. On the backstage in the afternoon of the show, and we just thought, let's get our acoustic guitars out and sing for them, you know. And we did this, and I remember the record company, they were angry we did it because you were not supposed to do such a thing, you know, like to be so close to the people, you know. So they were treating us like people that we didn't know we didn't consider we would ever be or are. So, you know, and that was weird.
A couple of short questions before the end. Can you name us 3 Heaven's Gate songs that you would get in a time capsule?
Oh, Living in Syria for sure. Mm-hmm. Probably In Control. It's the first single. Or let's say the video. I think it's a cool song. Like the way Thomas sang it back in the day was really impressive. When it did it live, it was really powerful. So these two are like milestones for Heaven's Gate, in the Heaven's Gate history. But there are others too. I mean, the next one George can choose.
Well, that's impossible. My playlist cannot go below 12 songs, you know, it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, I have special memories from the Planet E sessions, I have to say. I mean, we were in the studio at the time, and
same. Yeah, it's true.
And I still have that tape, by the way, with I don't know, 5 6 songs that you had just about finished at the time. But I remember how tough it was for you, how tough it was for Thorsten, for example, at the time. So
we were kind of merciless.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to 18-year-old Sascha Paeth now?
18-year-old Sascha Paeth. Then I would have already have done the first Heaven's Gate album.
16-year-old Sascha.
I don't know. It was just I never reflected on these things, you know, because my life was always like I just let it flow. I wouldn't do anything different. I think everything was good. I mean, how can I look back and not being happy, you know? yeah, you can always have more. You can strive for a lot of money and whatsoever. That was never my goal. I'm not really so good in money hunting. I try to work with. I like to work with people that are nice and have a good time. Meet a lot of people and just have a good time, and that's what I basically mostly had my whole life. So I know so many people and met so many people in my life and made so good friendships. And I could make my living being a producer. I'm not rich. Some people think, but George knows I'm not. I might
But
not
it's
have.
rich in experiences, right, Sascha? It's rich in experiences, and I have to say, usually it's not it's not the nice guys that survive or the nice guys that go very far. But I can gladly and happily say that Sascha is one of the nicest people I've ever met in the business after all these years, and I think that's the reason we're still in touch. And after all these years with you and with Bonnie and
Yes. Yeah.
Bonnie's birthday a couple of days ago, right? So, I mean, and that's why I'm so happy that we can finally make this happen and get you guys on stage and play a few songs because we all want it to happen. You guys want it to happen. We want it to happen. It'll be a splendid time for everybody.
Absolutely, it's gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to do this.